Hi, this is Rob Roy, and this is my movie LYCAN Colony. It's my company name, Wits End Entertainment. We have Jacob Roy, who's actually my youngest son, who's playing the boy running from the hunters here in the beginning. He had to do this a few times. He had no problems falling down a few times. He had a good time at it.
Where's your clan now, little pup?
Here we have Paul Henry, Master Paul Henry, who is playing Sergeant Roger Allen, the big game hunter, father of the siblings that come later. Here we have Mark Rodriguez, wielding a big knife, and Carl Bertelman, the other hunter.
Hey! You want the boy to live, we live. Got it? Shit.
Jacob turns into a little werewolf there and rips out Paul's crotch and runs off. And now the other younger hunters are scared because they don't know what's going to happen to them next. And all these wolves are around them, and you can see it. They're being seen with their night vision here, their wolf vision, if so to speak. And they can hear their heartbeats pumping. The more afraid they are. I know they're gonna get it, they just don't know when. And then they get it. Those two also like to fall down quite a few times. They had no problems doing that. Like to have all the action shots done over and over again. So they look good, and also for my amusement. We have a little dream sequence of Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan played by Bill Sykes, blood on his hands for a patient that he killed accidentally.
Stuart!
Here we have introducing Cece Carroll playing Sandy, the doctor's wife, Stuart's mom. And here we have Stuart being played by my other son, Ryan Roy. My two sons have done a lot of acting over the years, and I'm quite used to me putting them through this kind of stuff.
Been there, done that.
They have a good time at it, actually.
Comedy happens. Yeah, what happens when it keeps happening? And you keep laughing. Hey, babe, what's cooking?
Your tail if you don't finally take that garbage out. It's starting to smell like death around here.
This is our little introduction scene of Dr. Dan's family. This is Dr. Dan, Sandy, and Stuart. Dr. Dan was a surgeon in another town, another city, with a bigger house and more money and all that, and fell victim to alcoholism and accidentally killed somebody on the table. So he got blacklisted and could only get a job in this little rural town that his friend Dave helped him find. And Sandy is just totally pissed off because she's used to her more well-to-do life and doesn't like dropping a knot in society like this, and she really digs it into him.
So you didn't do it to spend more time with me either, did you? Never saw you when you work all those hours at the hospital.
A lot of these shots I did handheld, actually steady shots with a little steady cam unit that would hook up over my shoulder and then strap to my chest. Gave me a bruise on my rib cage usually, and I'd stop and move all the lights and all that.
I haven't seen him touch anything.
Tried to do everything myself every time.
At least he doesn't have those rug burns over his eyebrows when he's get plastered and passed out on the living room floor every night.
This part isn't funny. Look, Stu, yes, your father did have a problem. And he kicked it, but it took someone's life to do it.
What?
A lot of these scenes had to be done all different angles and all that because I was shooting with one camera, and I wanted to have different angles along with, of course, it looking like we used more than one camera. Now we got a little fake blood on our hands there, and
Dead?
The hospital
little cut. And actually, that was the last shot we got of the scene of this scene was the actual blood on the hands to tie that in.
Now look what the hell you did.
This is one of the few actual night scenes that we actually shot at night, and we lit up. We did use a few day for night scenes, which means we shot it day and we colored it for night to make it look like night. It's one of my favorite scenes where Dr. Dan uses the trash as a shield.
Hi, Dan.
Jeez, Dave, cut the crap.
Relax,
Why are you
Dan.
sneaking up on me? Just want to know why you haven't gone
This
to
is
your
the Dave character, of course, also known as David, as Athena refers
you know,
to him
job, my wife.
affectionately.
Sounds like you're whipped up,
He's being played by Sean
have balls of
Burgoyne.
brass.
Dave's
If it's
character was
Never let
also
a
a
woman push you
transplant
around.
to this town
How did she chop him off?
years ago, and
Besides,
a
you know how important these
childhood
AVs are for
friend
your
of
life
Dr. Dan's,
and for your job as well. But
and he
Dave,
became
you
his
don't
AA
understand.
sponsor, which he explains
I
later on.
understand. Meetings tonight. I suggest you be there, or I may have to resign as your sponsor.
Dave's character is also responsible for bringing Dr. Dan's family to this town, so it's all his fault. Here we have some of the local music. This is actually my band, the Rob Roy Band, playing Mr. Sophisticated. It's on the soundtrack that Stewart's jamming out to there. Actually, he was doing some pantomime acting there. He's actually got nothing in the headphones, but it was just good how it went with the beat. Actually, when it all ended up cutting together pretty good. This is an exterior shot. I did a map painting on the top there with the moon and the black sky. Of course, we put in the heavy breathing for something. He's being watched. This scene where he meets Sarah. Sarah's climbed up and is at the window. This was actually one of those day for night shots I was talking about. It was very bright, and this was the only time they could schedule to do the scene. So we had to do it like a silhouette, where it looks like night outside or dawn or dusk, and
Hi, my name's Sarah.
you don't see them right away. You just see this kind of airy silhouette and hear the dialogue until they
Seeing you.
turn to the next part.
So you make a habit of
This was done for practical reasons and then for cinematic reasons, just give it a kind of a different feel of the scene,
I go rock climbing
having
on
them
weekends
like a
with my
silhouette
father. Your wall's got a lot of footprints.
and then exposing what she really looks like.
So, is this a social call or delivering Girl Scout cookies? Second story window to second story window.
Well, I could dig out my old
And here we have another color palette. We did a little bit of green, a little bit of difference, and he's still kind of a blue color.
Wow.
Just to get two sides of a coin type of look to the scene.
Always one thing on your minds. So easy to play.
This
with
was
your head.
Libby Collins, who is
This
in real life is a really good actress. She's done a lot of plays and etc.
So can you sit down, or do you need a moment?
She also sings. She actually was very nervous about playing this character because she thought she was kind of slutty, but she's not really slutty. If you notice all the women in this story, are very empowering. There's a joke we kept saying, all the women in this story are bitches, you know, the joke of the, you know, dog bitch, you know, wolf bitch, female, but it was basically a truthful statement because they're very strong and they actually are tougher than the male counterparts in this movie. And here we have Sandy, his mom, is asleep in front of the TV, and they sneak out to go have some fun outside. Again, a day for night shot. Here's the town hall. That was a matte painting of the sky again. This is day for night, and the kids go running by, and this pans into the AA meeting. There's Charlie Drake, who's played the Zev as a werewolf in the Zev suit, actually, if you people that are wondering who that was.
I missed many of these. It looks like Lava's position as head banding pusher. By the way,
This was filmed in the Bedford Town Hall in the town of Bedford, New Hampshire. They allowed us to use it for the day. Also, their beautiful cemetery just down the road.
They all live us all. Something in the water?
Here's the little hidden joke about the water that they explain later, but they drink lots of it. And apparently other fluids. This is actually the woman here drinking the whiskey is actually
Let's get started now.
Sean Benoit's wife in real life.
Started, shall we?
Zep.
Sure as the drinkers, though.
She also shows up in the bar later as an extra. And if you notice the guy with the mustache, yeah, that was actually one of the hunters. That was Carl from the beginning there, and his little running gag that he plays different characters and he's always getting flipped off by Dr. Dan.
It's a good thing you're cute.
This is a crane shot that we did over a hill, and then we're panning down of the kids running through the Bedford Cemetery here.
Yeah, do it in these shoes and you get really good.
And you're kind of weird.
To say nothing of yourself.
This, of course, is a voiceover, which we did in the studio.
Yeah.
I think they were just having too much of a good time with that.
So, what do you want to do now?
And we're back at the town hall. This is, again, day for night. Very bright day. Colored it as best as could be. Gives it kind of an eerie feeling to it.
What? Coffee, dear. Coffee. Oh.
Here we are back at the cemetery, and that's my band again, the Rob Roy Band, doing a song called Love Slave. The whole song is on the DVD, soundtrack part of the DVD, but just the beginning is in the movie. Again, a mad painting of the moon. This was day for night, and this was colored to have kind of a bluish, greeny feel to it. And then we have the... we only had her wolf out a little bit because she was supposed to be just being affected by part of the moon, not a full transformation. And plus, she was a teenager, and so she was kind of going through heat and getting a little worked up.
Pretty good sign to take a break.
Libby also helped out with his little prosthetic there, his the teeth marks there. That was a latex prosthetic and some fake blood, and she actually helped out with some of the makeup on that. The two of them were just excellent working together, and they did a really good job. We're very happy having those two on board.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's gonna be so annoying.
Right here is some ad-libbing that Ryan did later in the studio. There was a lot of noise. We had to redo all the audio here. A lot of trucks going by, a lot of wind. We had to put in crickets. Had to.
You have to cauterize the open wound. Infection.
No, it's what are we fine. Just put a little Neosporin on it and clear it up. Something to remember you by.
Of course, she's trying to end the infection of him turning to a werewolf by cauterizing the wound. But he doesn't want nothing to do with it. He just thinks she's kind of nutty, so he just wants to leave.
Hey, there's an all-night place right around the corner.
Here we have back to the town hall, day for night again, and David's taking him down an alley here to go get some coffee. And Dr. Dan's thinks Stuart's doing okay with the change. And here we have Stuart's change. He's gone back home, and this is a great band on the soundtrack that's on the DVD, Haywire from Pennsylvania. It's their song No Way Out, which is great. It had a little lick in there that's a little hook called Going to the Dark Side, which is cool because another band later on, SUIT, a local band here in New Hampshire, had a song, The Dark Side, so it kind of worked really well, the two of those songs together. This is a little ghosting effect I did in post. I also did some speed changes and slowed it down or sped it up depending on what I wanted to go for the mood. Wanted to keep this as practical in shot as possible. Then we have the keep the wild poster joke there. Did some prosthetic on makeup on his eyes and contacts and teeth and forehead. Of course, that vein pop in his head was actually him. A little scary when you think about it. This is a change. And a little joke where it goes to her snoring. This is another actual night shot. This is Sweetie the cat, actually, that was done in blue screen, and supposedly they're running down the alleyway scared, and it turns out to be a cat. This is the Village Trestle. Now we're in Goffstown, New Hampshire. This is an actual bar and restaurant run by the human Zev, Steve Pascucci. So actually, he actually owns this bar. And all the paintings in this bar scene was
Wait a minute.
all
This ain't no coffee
painted
shop,
by,
Dave. It's a bar. They serve coffee
by
here.
Steve
Come
Pascucci.
on.
And if you do go there, tell him I said hi, and he also sells the paintings there, so please check him out. This is one of the paintings, actually, that we got it on one day of a shoot, and he sold it the next day for like $1,000, I believe, that painting. Of course, we had to exploit it, having Dr. Dan, wanting to touch the woman's butt and all that. So.
Hey, Zev. Hey, Dave.
And here we have Steve Pascucci.
Having met the new dog. Just got in a couple months ago. Dan, this is Ev, owner of this.
There was a lot of industrial noise in here, and if you're familiar with making movies or not, a lot of movies are the audio is redone after the fact in post because of camera noise or buses or wind or equipment noise, like in this.
Make mine a double.
Because this scene here, there was a lot of equipment noise, so all the actors had to come in the studio and redo all their vocals.
Is this the way you usually
all
sponsor
their
your alcoholics, Dave?
dialogue.
Just real life practice
The,
and self-control,
background
Dan.
noise had to be
Temptations
put
everywhere,
in.
all the friggin' time. You just
And all
can't
that.
give in to them.
We tinted
These
this
sides,
kind
these
of
sort mean fucking steak
reddish
here.
color to
There's
give it
something
kind
else
of
I thought I'd
that.
never have again. Sandy's got all of us on
Not
a
really
soy
like an
sucking
evil mood,
vegetarian
but
diet.
just it's a It's a
Dave,
club
if I see
like
one more hunk
bar,
of tofu,
and
I'm
just to
gonna
give
lose
it that kind of ambience. There's a few vegetarian jokes
How
in
is
the
it?
beginning here, and I
Awesome.
think that's pretty much it. And here we have the siblings. There's one of the signs. If you stop the DVD, you can actually see it says Route 69, Canisboro, and someone had drawn a graffiti that looked on the man on the mountain to make it look like long snout and teeth and ears. And here we have Gretchen Weisinger, who's playing the Russ character, Russ Allen, daughter of the hunter from the beginning, and her brother, Doug, is being played by William Finley.
We'll take another crack at it at first light. Let's get some food and booze. Take a breather. No signal.
All right, well, I mapped out the entire area with the satellite GPS. It seems like we're surrounded by
Her
a
satellite
mountain range,
GPS
and
there,
this town
actually,
is
she
smack
supplied.
dab
It
in
was
the middle
actually
of it.
a stud finder. It's one of the older ones, so it's
Hungry?
and it's yellow, so
Starving.
it kind of works.
Just spent 6 hours on the road to
You got to
get
use
here.
what you
Not a
have
bite in
when you're
between.
like doing low budget films, and
So what brings you next to
your
my part
money
of
is
the woods?
scarce.
Our father went
and
missing 3 weeks
You just
ago.
got
He
to
was
try
a
to
hunter.
tell a story and
Last we heard, he was tracking in the woods around here.
try to
Have you
do it
seen
as
him?
best you can. You know, people will pick it apart, but
Tracking what?
I think we
We
did a
don't
lot
know.
for
With
what
Dad, it was always
little we had.
something big.
Can't say as I have.
Now,
Then again, all
Gretchen
hunters
here
look the
was
same to
actually
me.
brought in replacing a male character.
Maybe you're still out there.
Now, we had
Pretty
it
good
first
woods out
written
there.
that the siblings were
Sometimes
actually
people go out, they'll
brothers,
come back.
but we
Could be
never
on his way home as we
even
speak.
Not a chance.
shot one
Dad
day
always
with the
called
male
us on all his
character,
explorations. He was once in
and
Brazil, tracking
something
a
came
tribe
up,
of
and we
headhunters
decided
who
to
was still
change
able
it to a
contact
female
us with
character, and we
satellite.
brought in the Russ
Headhunters.
character. We just kept
Lucky
the
they weren't
name
tracking
and
him.
named her Rochelle,
Anyway,
and Russ
good luck
was
hunting
short.
him down. In the meantime, can I
But
get you anything?
Gretchen thought she was coming in as
How's the pork
a
roast?
extra, which was kind of funny. I was like, no,
tender.
you're
All right,
a main
I'll take
character,
that and a
and
large beer.
she actually took to it very, very well. She never really acted before, but she was
I don't even see fish on
very
here.
anal about
beer
everything and very
Salad?
in a good
Just a
way. She
salad?
was very
My bro
particular,
here is a
and
strict
she knew all her lines
vegetarian.
backwards and forwards,
Never encountered a
and how to say
vegetarian
them.
with
And she was
muscles like
very
this.
particular.
Usually
She
the
was
little
really
twink
great
type
to work
things.
with, and she did her own stunts. She's got the
Soy dude.
bruises to
Body built by
prove it.
soy.
Yep, he's full of it.
Yeah, and there's the other
Can we borrow your ketchup?
soy joke.
Yeah, take it.
So this is the tattoo that was ties these
Special
two
forces?
together.
Ex-Navy
That was
SEAL.
put in
How'd you know?
at post.
Some years ago,
It's not perfect,
I was an army
but
doctor. I've seen that tat before on the lead special forces.
you know,
wing.
you're limited by time and
A
budget
private
and all
rites
that
of
stuff.
passage, a tribal
This,
ritual.
this
amongst a
ties
few
them
of
together because he was an army
What
doctor. Dr. Dan
station?
was an army doctor,
Massachusetts.
and
Our father was Army Special Forces in
Knew his
Massachusetts
father.
as well. He had that same tat. Have you seen him?
Sergeant Allen. Small world.
You've seen him?
Not around
yeah, another thing
here,
I should bring up
but I
about
did sew up a few times.
filmmaking. Sometimes
was
you write a
definitely a
script
risk
and you
taker.
have a location you
Yep,
see it
sounds like our
beforehand,
dad.
or
Hey, you
you,
guys wanna
you
join
don't
us?
see it and you find a location afterwards, and sometimes it doesn't fit. Like they're sitting at a little table by the painting there, and then you got Russ
I'm
and
Dave, by
Doug
the way.
sitting
I'm
at this bigger
Russ.
table, and they're supposed
I'm
in
Dan.
the
Nice to meet you.
in the script, Russ and Doug actually go sit
And then
at
Sergeant
Dr.
Allen
Dan
drove his
and
Jeep right
Dave's
into the mess
table.
hall.
But because of the
Sound like my
size and
kinda
all
guy.
that,
Yeah,
we had to
yesterday
switch
as
it
well.
around. But it's little things you had to change. There's
I remember
also a
when he was
kitchen
awarded that
scene that
gold
comes
watch
up
at his
in a few
retirement.
minutes
For many years
that
of
was
loyal
totally
service.
different in the script, and
I
we
still
modified
remember
the
the
whole thing
description.
because of the size. We were supposed to have
Few
all
are
these
those
pots
who
and
rise for
pans,
loves and
and things were
fears
going to
that
get
rise
knocked
before
over.
them.
But when I saw the kitchen, it was like
So, can I get you guys
not
anything?
able to do that, so we had the whole thing with the fried cook
Where did you get
and
this
all
watch?
that, so we changed it. And here's
I
the
found
watch,
it.
the father's watch.
What do you mean
Of
you
course,
found
the
it?
inscription was done in post, and the sound effects done in post. And
Mistake!
Yeah, we're cutting to some live audio here. It kind of gives it a different kind of vibe to it. And they're chasing after him, and here we have Carl and Mark. We have Carl and Mark again, and
You're not supposed to be back here, you
the
know.
hunters and the Yay meeting. And again, he gets flipped off by Dr. Dan. This was actually the freezer, but we needed a door for them to run through to say that he must have went through there. And then this is actually downstairs in the bar, and we just made it look like he was running through some corridors and trying to hide from them.
Over there in the corner.
Fucking outsiders. You come here, eat our food, drink
And
our
then we
booze,
had
piss
Zev
in our streets.
under the light here.
And then eventually...
And this was
you
all done in
all try
post
to
too,
kill
his voiceover, because somebody,
the hell is he rambling
the
about?
plumbing was right overhead, and somebody
have no
kept flushing
clue.
the toilet, and you could hear different
So what's left
AC
for us
units
to do
coming on. So
but defend ourselves.
We want to know where you got the watch. It's our father's.
I told you, I found it. I found it on his freshly killed corpse. Another fucking outsider hunting us down like animals. But don't worry, kids. Your daddy's still with you. Where do you think the good meat comes from in this place? Cows? There's a bit
Steve
of dear
had
old
a
dad in
really
each of
cool
you
laugh.
now.
We actually had
Except for the
had him
rabbit
laugh a
food
few
eater.
times, and I used the best one. But that was
What?
that was
He's
just a
so
really
full
good
of
evil
shit.
laugh he had.
Am I? Or are you all just fucked?
This is where shadow grows and he becomes a Zeb wolf. And he tears through him and goes running down the corridor.
You okay?
There was some blood splatter that we put in post.
Doug, how you holding up?
That was one of the lines she changed. Instead of my underwear, she had to say panties. And it was a nice makeup prosthetic we did with his neck.
Doug, do something!
Now, with some location changes and that, we had to do some of this in blue screen. So what you see right here was done in the blue screen and just darkened up to look like we were in the same location. Also, the scene right before where Zev Wolf, the werewolf there, is tearing through them was also blue screen, and with the shot, the elements from the trestle basement was put in post.
I'm gonna get that fucking son of a bitch!
Now right here he says, "Go with God, son," Dr. Dan says, and he does what you normally do with a corpse. You'd put a sheet over him. But a lot of people at the premieres thought this was very funny because it had the blood all over it, and it wasn't intentional. But hey, you take the laughs where you can get them, right? So here we have the next location. This is the Stage Door Cafe, actually the basement. It's Audrey Hepburn there. And this is the freezer down below there. They were very accommodating to us. And we have the hunters and her father. And the carrot.
I've seen some sick
A funny story behind this vomit here. I didn't bring any. She was supposed to vomit, and I didn't have any fake vomit prepared. So I asked Tom, the owner there, if he had any cream soup or something. And he said no. And I told him what I needed it for, and he got all excited. And he goes, "Oh, I'll have my cook whip something up." So he comes back with his cook, and he's got this gallon stainless steel bowl full of like bread and basil and beans and stuff like that. And I said, "We didn't need that much." And his cook was like, "Well, it doesn't usually make people. My food doesn't usually make people do this." So we watered it down, and after 3 takes, we had the right consistency. Well, here we have the first sign of the black beta werewolves. These are all being played by Sean Burgoyne. He was a trooper. He did a lot of the physical stuff himself. It took about 6 hours for me to apply the makeup, hair, and the facial prosthetic, which was a foam latex prosthetic that was furred. That allowed the snout and everything to move when he talked and stuff. That was supposed to be the Dave character as a werewolf protecting Dr. Dan. Now the fight scenes here with Sean and Gretchen a lot of them were pretty much choreographed by the two of them, and then I just did different angles and that. We had the clang for the Three Stooges clang there from her baton, and they worked out a lot of their own kicks and all that stuff, and she was always feeling bad when she actually landed a punch and hit him, and he was always like, no, hit me, make it real. So the two of them were great. They were awesome, and Sean was awesome all the times we had to put him in that stuff. And yeah, we have Dr. Dan fell down the hole. Actually, he pantomimed that he was going through a hole underneath the sink and falling downstairs at the stage door. This was the stage door again, but we had to get him out somehow. Originally, it was planned that he got rolled up by Dave as a werewolf into like a carpet, and he pulls up the floor, but that wasn't feasible at the stage door to do that, so we had to come up with this. And sometimes when you're working on the set, you have to come up with things like last minute, and just to keep your imagination open and make it work. This actually is in Bedford. This was a different building to make it look like it was the outside of the bar, and Dave is human again and pulls him back out and helps him out. But now Dr. Dan thinks he's dreaming, and he thinks he's, being an ex-alcoholic, he's just delusional. Good times. Yeah, also on the werewolves costumes, we played with showing the eyes or not. Sometimes you see some of the eyes, like in the back of the car she's going through the window there. Of course, that was done in post with CG glass, just for safety reasons, and sugar glass and all that would have been still sharp. There you see the eyes of one of the werewolves, and we kind of played the idea of not showing the eyes all the time, because sometimes it looked too cute, the werewolves look too cute, so I wanted to keep them a little more sinister, at least for this movie. And there you don't see the eyes, but you see the snout and the teeth. Now in this next scene here, we're back at Dr. Dan's house, and this is going back to when Stewart had changed, and now he's coming down. This is kind of like our tribute to the old Pumpkinhead series, right here with the shadow work. That was actually him in makeup on the stairwell, and we were lighting him from behind and projecting on different walls. And the werewolves I wanted to make him look different. Like Stewart was more younger; he looked more like a pup, and the black betas all looked alike. Because they were supposed to be half breeds and the dark skin and all that. And Zev was more of the elder race, so he would be a full furred suit with the animatronic heads and all that. So he would be like the full werewolf. So here and now is our tribute to Jurassic Park. Okay, we have the wolf vision again, which is explained later that they can hone in on the prey's fear and their blood flow. So the faster her heart beats, the more scared she is. He can actually detect where she is. She's looking through the crack of the door. Bang. crashing it through. We have the Stu Wolf. And this was kind of a fun scene because it looks like he's going to attack her and. And everybody laughs when he says, "Mom." Meanwhile, back at the races, we have Russ pulling away, trying to get away, and she's got a flat, so she has to check it out.
One of those bastards must have gotten the tire.
We had a lot of good lines with Russ's character because he was a foul-mouthed, like army brat type, and Gretchen never really swore before she met me, and I could hear her like after a couple of months of shooting, she'd be like swearing left and right. It was kind of funny with just general talk.
I didn't see you or Dan anywhere. I nearly escaped with my ass intact.
Dr. Dan's on his way home. We slipped away.
This is where
Oh, you created that diversion
Dave
right
is
next door?
trying to get her
How do I know you're not one of
to
them?
help him.
I am one. You don't understand. There are
We
many
had some
things you have
eyes
yet
and
to
posts there
understand.
that were just a little tracking, wasn't no big deal. And the duct tape. At first I wanted this to keep going because it was kind of amusing with the duct tape, but then we said, that's enough.
Well, then if you're full of answers, I'm full of questions.
You know I could break these.
So why don't you? Give me another reason to shoot you.
Wow.
So we're pushing out. We were actually filming on this side of the road here. This was another day for night. We made it look like night. But actually it was a busy road, and I had the camera up on my shoulder, and we had people. We had her with guns and him his arms wrapped up and all this, and a policeman came by, and I said, "Oh, no accident. We're just shooting a movie." He's looking at the guns, sees his camera. He goes, "Okay, cool." And he just rides off. Here we have Dave lifting the car. And of course that effect was done in post afterwards. Meanwhile, back at Dr. Dan's house, we have a lot of scenes that go back and forth here. Dr. Dan's made it home. And apparently, we got the bunnies there. I don't know if anybody picks up on the bunnies, but we have Stu Werewolf wrapped in the blanket with the bunnies. I thought that was cute. Of course, Dr. Dan just wants to attack him.
Of course he is.
And being delusional, he realizes when she says that's your son, he goes, "Oh, of course it is. You know, why wouldn't it be?" type of thing. Meanwhile, back with Russ and Dave in the car.
Dr. Dan's
Now
house.
tires
You should
fixed.
fill him in before this gets totally out of control.
Before it gets out of control. Now wait.
Yeah, I was sitting in the
is
back
Dan one
seat,
of
little
those
tiny seat in this
No, he's
Mustang
not.
here.
And by the way,
And it was very
we don't like
hot.
to be referred to as things.
We had to keep
Show me where he
opening the
lives.
windows to let the Yeah, that's actually Sean pulling out. Right now, this is Gretchen driving. Actually, we had to do it a couple times because she's a very cautious driver, and she was using
You try anything.
using her blinker all the
smell it.
time, and it
I'll
just
cut you
didn't
down
seem
where
right
you
for an
stand.
action hero
Got
to
it?
type to
And
be
if regular
using her
bullets won't
blinker.
kill
So.
ya, I'll cut your bits into bits and separate them far enough that you'll never piece them back together. Okay?
Kind of melodramatic, isn't it?
Let's not find out the hard way. Come on.
And of course, he's broken his
I
binds.
told you, damn it. I need your help. It wouldn't do me good to attack you. Now would it? Trust me, damn it.
Can't do that, Dave.
There's a little tribute to Hal the Computer from 2001.
You first.
Dan?
Sandy? Something isn't right here.
Here we have Dr. Dan, and he's still delusional, think he's having a dream, or...
Hi, Dave. Hi, Russ.
Now, a lot of people thought that he was hitting the sauce again, but that's actually root beer that he's drinking there. But people will believe whatever they want to believe, or write in their own minds whatever they think is going on. And then we have Still Wolf.
Scared. Of course he's scared. He's just a 17-year-old boy who suddenly turned into a goddamn werewolf.
Where's my manners? Sandy. This is Russ, Allen, daughter of Sergeant Allen, an old friend of mine. And of course you know Dave. Oh, by the way, Dave, I don't think I'm going to be needing a sponsor anymore once I wake up from this dream. Last time I set foot in a bar, everyone turned into werewolves. I'm never touching alcohol again.
This ain't no fucking dream, man.
Of course it is. Dave is the Scarecrow. Russ is the Tin Man. I'm the Cowardly Lion. Sandy is Dorothy. And of course, that's Toto.
There's our little homage to Wizard of Oz.
Son, I thought you said that Dr. Dan wasn't one of you.
He isn't. And she isn't. But apparently Stu is.
There's a lot of multiple angles in the movie. I shot the whole thing with one camera, DVX 124p frame rate, but I would stop the actors like constantly and just run around, get on chairs, ladders, go into other rooms, just to get different angles. And also to have it appear like there was more cameras. Yeah, Sean playing the David characters, telling them about the silver nitrate in the water that controls the change.
Has unusual levels of silver concentrated. During the last half of the
Ryan was wearing the wolf makeup there, and he was partially naked with body makeup, so he was pretty cold actually. He was shivering, but he did a good job pantomiming the water drinking here and.
This will help him until he can learn.
Mouth moving.
Learn what?
How to control himself. He's still a young pup.
Wait a minute. I thought Silver killed werewolves.
Now every werewolf in the movie was had different looks. Like he looks more like a pup, and it was kind of like a last minute judgment that I decided to go with like a full head prosthetic like he's got, instead of putting hair down the back like some of the black betas. Wanted to make him look a lot younger and different looking.
In small amounts, it can have municipal purposes.
What's happening?
Come on, get under the couch. He's in no danger. It's a slow process. It's working, but the silver still needs to go through his system, so it can counteract the wolf gene. I assure you he's in no pain, but he does need the rest. We all need to talk.
Yeah, the silver nitrate is going through his system. He's so cute. He looks like a little puppy. Yeah, Dr. Dan's taking a break and going to sleep there for a little while.
Crash course. We are known as lycanthropes. No longer human.
There's the breakdown.
Not animal. We're something in between. We're not brainless beasts, and we're not cursed. We have families, jobs, basic simple life. We have the basic will to survive like any species.
Yeah, by using innocent people as your cattle.
No, I had no idea what happened at Zep's bar. We grow crops, raise cattle, sheep, same as your norms.
Norms?
Sorry, it's just a slang term we use with people without the gene. I didn't mean it as a racist remark.
Racist wearables?
This whole scene here, actually, I was using the orchid in the center there to do all the framing for everybody talking, other than the wide shots like this one here.
We also want regular lives.
I was trying to use it as a little coloring frame.
Fucking
And
damn Amish can do it. Why can't us? Though, no matter how civilized the populace gets, there's always those assholes that want to use their power against the good. Just like your crime, we have our own. I've been undercover for months, trying to infiltrate Zed's
background
crime.
music here was actually
But now
done by
Zed
Dr.
has
Dan,
crossed way
Bill
over the line.
Sykes.
Broken code is eating humans.
It's his
you.
original music
What are
score.
you trying to say? There's some sort of werewolf mafia? What do you mean by undercover? For who? Police?
Something like that. Doesn't matter.
What about these people? If they aren't these lycanthropes, then why are they here?
I've known Dan since we were kids. Ironically, I became a sponsor. And I offered to sponsor Dan after his misfortune. He needed a job, and we needed a doctor. At least to appear as a normal community to others. I was hoping he and his family would grow to like our way of life. Lycan or not.
So now I find out that werewolves or lycanthropes are real. So what do you need my help for? I just want to go back and tear Zev and his bar a new one. Shouldn't that solve your problem?
No, I need Zeb alive to bring before the tribe to be judged for his crime. Besides, he's packed on an older, wiser set, not inexperienced. Pup like Stu in the other room. They won't be easy to scare, let alone kill.
Tribe?
Yes, the eldest pack. All of our laws and judgments come from them. They alone can truly make Zeb pay for the crime against humanity and liking kind. I need you in my pack.
You want to turn me into a werewolf?
No, there won't be enough time anyways. It takes a full cycle of a moon for a newly turned lycanthrope to fully get his footing. I need you the way you are. It's almost daybreak. We have until sunset tonight to rest, and then prepare.
Sunset? Why not go there during the daylight and arrest him?
Zed's pack will be expecting that. They're just as dangerous during the daytime. The full harvest moon is tonight. Zed's pack will be at their strongest, but they're least intelligent. At the final cycle of the moon, the wolf fully emerges and most of the humanity is gone for only one night. They won't sense a trap.
What about you?
I can use certain meditations and mental disciplines to hold the beast at bay. I'll still transform, but I'll retain my humanity. You'll need me in this, as I'll need your skills and your firepower.
Meditations. And what if that shit don't work and you start nipping at my ankle bones? I swear I will not hesitate to tear your fangs from your face.
Relax, I've done this before. You'll need my Lycan ability to track Zed's pack tonight. They will be in the deep woods, on the first ridge of the mountain, running, hunting game, etc.
Hunting?
Total separation from human counterparts, driving only from pure animal instinct. Have you ever heard of the expression, they can sense your fear? Imagine a being having the ability to hone in on a prey's heartbeat and blood flow, with each increased surge of adrenaline pumping through their veins. The more afraid the prey becomes, the more defined the mental image of them becomes to us. With this ability, walls become transparent. The more afraid the prey is, the harder it is for it to hide. Now let's see what gear you have packed away in that car of yours.
I hope you were all hungry. I'm famished.
Okay, here we have the Dr. Dan's sleep and dream sequence here. He's dreaming he's getting eaten by everybody. Randy Martin doing the song Eat Me here. It's very appropriate. Yeah, we had Dr. Dan there and like half the table. He was in like 2 hours of makeup and then like about maybe like 2 hours filming the scene through the table there, and everybody kept forgetting he was there. They would just start talking about other things. I'm like, this guy's in a weird position. He's gonna be hurt, you know. There's Doug, who just died in the last scene, so of course he's seeing him in his dream. And I gotta tell you, we used a lot of like pork and bones and pork liver, and I gotta tell you, in real life, pork liver just stinks to high heaven. So if you ever pick a pork liver, don't smell it, man. Actually, you won't be able to get away from the smell.
Still dreaming, Doc?
Then we have Dr. Dan getting woken up. He comes out to see son Stewart.
Sorry about the bathroom door.
How are you feeling? Boy, you gave me such a stir last night. Have some water.
Thanks, Mom. No, my legs, well, I need to walk around. I need to get some clothes on.
Sure, hon. Stuart, you shed all over the sofa.
Now, what she's picking up is authentic alpaca hair supplied by Athena, played by Christy Drake, who actually has real alpacas and various other animals, and she donated the fur for that scene. Now we have the weapon scene. Now, a lot of these guns were real and some were fake. That's a real gun. Those are real bullets. Gretchen was really scared loading that gun, actually. This is New Hampshire, and we all have guns. She was just kind of curious, because I had the camera right on her, and the gun was always pointing at my groin, so I was a little afraid half the time, too, but it all went well. And Sean and Gretchen here weren't even in the same room at the same time. I filmed them both separately on different dates and just put them together.
You push the remote up to 20 yards away, and the fucker is on the ground, twitching like an earthworm, baking in the summer sun.
That'll be useful.
Any special weaknesses I should know about?
Well, looking at the scarceness of silver bullets in your healthy arsenal here, not except for a slim chance of decapitation, trauma to the brain, or ripping out of the heart.
Looks like I damaged a few of your dogs back at Zev's bar pretty damn good.
Again, the two of them weren't even in the same room. This is a nice prosthetic arm that he's cutting through here. And it was molded actually it was very close to his actual hand. And then we cut back to the actual hand. We got Dr. Dan and the family outside.
Bitch, that was fucking awesome.
These were all these segments were filmed on different dates and all that, and then put together.
Those you have injured have now already
He licks his
regenerated.
wound,
And
healed
the
up.
skin you have cut is now twice as strong. Your toys will hold them off for a while. But to do any real damage, you're going to have to get real close.
So how'd all this happen? This town, all these werewolves?
We got some time. I got someone I really want you to meet. Athena's our oldest town.
Okay, here's where we introduce the Athena character, the witch of the town. It's feeding their alpacas. She blows back Russ.
I feel to mention she's also our resident witch.
Thanks for leaving that information out.
Athena! It's Dave! There's someone I want you to meet!
Again, we got backing music by Bill Sykes, who plays Dr. Dan. He's also a phenomenal bass player. If ever you listen to the Rob Roy Band tracks there, he's playing bass on that. I put this music in here because it made me laugh, and I thought it was kind of cool just to have this little comedy. Now, the slap, actually, she slaps him once there, but she slapped him about 20 times while we were filming, just to get the lines right, and some of it was for our amusement.
And who's this sweet young piece of meat?
And Christy Drake plays a really good pagan witch. And actually, in real life, she is a pagan, and she supports all the rituals of pagans. And she's a very good sport, and doing all kinds of things for the movie here. She's a very caring person. She rescues animals. This is actually filmed on her property with her animals. She has a lot of exotic animals that she's rescued and has cared for over the years. Her husband Charlie played Zev in the suit there and played the AA meeting host there at the beginning there. Charlie, and he's a really cool guy.
Although maybe a little misguided. Sorry about your dad and brother. Oh, and Ross, we don't have 6 nipples.
Oh, and introducing Kaylee, the pig. This is Christy Drake's personal pig. Kaylee's a beautiful, beautiful, very talented girl. She is very well trained, and she's just beautiful. It's great to work with. Beautiful animal. Here we have Sophia Wong playing shaman. We did this with a lot of. We did quite a few scenes with blue screen here. This is a shot of the back rock and some CGI flames and stuff, and dust that she's throwing on. These are some cave drawings to tell the story here, done by Paul Henry, who was the hunter that was slain in the beginning shot there, actually. He's very talented. He's done a lot of Photoshop work. He's a wonderful actor and a good friend, and he's also the lead guitarist in my band.
Once he became conscious enough, he told her of a very
this little silhouette here is actually Eddie Wong, or Edward Wong, who's actually Sophia's real brother, playing the brother of the shaman, ironically, who becomes the Wendigo and turns the tribe to wolf beasts.
His remains to survive. At first he resisted, but upon desperation he slowly gave in to his hunger. Though once he had tasted human flesh, he couldn't stop. One by one, as his group slept, waiting out the storm, he would drag each one off into the dark belly of the cave and devour.
Again, we have the cave drawings by Paul
Henry.
Henry.
Each one of the tribe's brothers' strengths and essence flowing.
And Eddie was a good sport too, because he's very proper, and he doesn't let you do anything with him. And I put makeup on him. I made him eat raw meat and stuff like that, and he was very good about it.
To wander the outside woods.
His wife was very surprised.
To live out the rest of his days in brutal anguish, taking on the form of many different beasts as a shapeshifter, intensified by the cycle of the full moon. He was to be an example and a warning to those who offend nature and resort to such horrifying cannibalistic acts. The tribe branded his confliction Wendigo. In retaliation, her brother attacked many of the remaining tribe in the form of a large man-wolf.
Again, we got some simple cave drawings here that Paul Henry put together. And we just wanted to tell the story a bit and have a little animation, have like cave drawings, and
the shaman, try as she might, was unable.
There's a little blue screen work with Sophia playing the shaman.
She could not undo what he had done. Though she observed her remaining people were much different from her brother. Even as man-wolves, they thrived together and respected nature and their fellow beings, and their shaman. Impressed by her remaining people, she granted them with great immunities and long life, and supposedly she cast a retainment spell around these mountains. If any of us leave, our lifespan shortens to only 1 lunar year. But here, we can live indefinitely.
Yeah, Christy had some wonderful purple contacts in her eyes there, and they were just very flattering. I couldn't take my eyes off them. They're just very subtle, but very appealing on her. She's a very natural actress, actually, as well. And her costume, actually, she put together herself. Like I said, she is a practicing pagan, and she just had a wonderful idea for the Athena character. Oh, here we have cutting back to Stu after he's changed back to human form. Being put to bed, trying to get his legs after changing and going through the process.
What the hell are you doing?
We got Dave or David here, actually, going through his stuff here, looking for something to bind Stuart with. They find some handcuffs.
Never mind, I don't want to know.
So he just has to secure him while he goes through the change during the harvest moon, because he's going to change, but he won't be able to control himself.
What's that? Is it necessary?
Yes, we're in the fall equinox. When the harvest moon rises, Stuart won't be able to control his change. This is a strong sedative. He'll sleep through it. These are just a precaution. He will change, but he will sleep the whole night. Nevertheless, I wouldn't get too close.
Now, this actual needle shot was actually Sean used his own arm and did a needle that was actually sanitary into the upper layer of his skin, upper dermis, I guess you would call it. And so he was a cut-in for that, and then we took the needle out and we did it into Ryan's arm, who plays Stuart, for the effect. So a lot of the actors actually did their own stunt. All the actors did their own stunts, but definitely a lot of the actors actually, put in extra for the actual. So we didn't have to go with prosthetics and stuff like that. Now this whole scene right here was done in front of blue screen with the rock superimposed. where he's shown on the map and where she has to go.
So there shouldn't be any other packs with them. If you encounter any other packs along the way, don't harm them.
How the hell do I tell the difference?
Wouldn't you recognize them from the bar fight?
Kinda happened too fast. You all look alike to me.
Zeb is big and great. He'll be guarded by the rest of the group. They are more aggressive having tasted human flesh. All others will be more afraid of you to even approach. Zeb and his pack will most likely attack you first.
Where will you be?
I'll be going around back a different way to try to surround them.
Listen, Dave. My brother and I always give someone one chance. I'm gonna trust you for now. And I'm gonna help you get Zeb and his dogs for my dad, my brother, and for all the people they fed upon. You cross me even one time and
you'll cut me into bits and separate them far enough from each other so I'll never piece them together. Okay?
Glad you remember.
Let's go.
Okay, and we have the little leaping part here. At the premieres, they always cracked up about that because he was bouncing off off the rocks. Little bunny guy.
Over this ridge, through the woods, to grandmother's house I go.
Now this music again was Randy Martin doing "I'm Not the Only One," original music. And Randy Martin is quite a character, actually. If you look at the DVD in the special features section, you'll see him physically, and you'll see his music, hear his music actually, and you'll see a little spoof little chorus line we did with him in a werewolf. But I'm actually gonna cast him in another small movie playing a character, because he is a character and he's well loved in our community. He's an awesome guy. Now here she is. She gets to the top of the rock cliff there, and this is all blue screen. And then we cut back to
What is he doing?
Sandy and Dr. Dan checking in on Stuart.
All this time he begged us to get a dog. He becomes one.
The slap actually took like 20 takes because she kept hitting the wrong place. Alright, we'll cut back to Russ here going through the woods. And wonderful band here doing music, SUYT, Show Us Your Talents, doing a song called Dark Side. This woods was filmed in Merrimack, New Hampshire. It was pretty amazing because a lot of this woods, the bridge, this rock that we used quite a bit, just different parts of the woods were actually just like I wrote the script, and it was pretty amazing because I never saw the actual woods until after I wrote the script, so it was kind of funny. Beta wolves out on the prowl.
The challenge is here, so let's get started on this final test. Hey, I'm going to the dark side just to get some light. I'm going to the dark side. Don't want to start a fight. I'm going to the dark side just to get
You got a little binocular effect here. Right, now we cut back to actually the David character actually going through his transformation slash meditation process here. This was all done in blue screen. I added some smoke effects for the mouth, and of course sound effects, and of course some post effects. It's very wobbly and the color changes. A lot of people ask me if I actually did some effects for his muscles stretching out and all that. And a lot of that was him, actually. I mean, I did some in post, but most of it was him just really getting into the metamorphosis of the character. He's trying to control the change. Meanwhile, back in the woods, Russ is getting pulled out of a tree by Beta Wolf. Checking her out. Throws her. And strangles the heck out of him. Here she's actually reaching into a turkey and pulling out a pig's heart. This was an actual pig's heart, and so funny about this pig's heart because right here, every time she threw it, it would just bounce. So we had to do it quite a few times in different angles and stuff. So we cut between some of the blue screen and some of the real life shots to give it more kind of a reality comic book kind of feeling.
The run of the litter.
Buddy, I hate to disappoint you, but I'm gonna disappoint you.
Oh, here's where we figure out that Doug is still alive.
Dave said it takes a full
even though he died in the bar scene there, but it's kind of questionable about if he died, how he came back as a werewolf, but I guess you'll have to wait for the sequel for that. Hint, hint. But now he's become a werewolf. Here we have Zev. Has come across the gun here. She lost her rifle. This is Charlie Drake in the Zev suit here. And of course, Dave takes the bullet, and it's not really said in the movie, but I'll give you a little giveaway here. See, he got shot by the bullet, but Zev got hit back also because it's hinted in the movie that Dave is actually a beta of Zev's, and Zev is the alpha, and an alpha cannot harm a beta without conflicting the same pain across to himself. So, if he shot Dave or David, then the same will happen to him.
Holy shit, he's got the same bullet wound as Dave.
How the fuck did that happen?
You think there's another bullet in there?
Fuck him, I don't care.
A lot of this was the wood scenes here were done in blue screen.
Simply because for safety reasons, or it was like pouring rain, lightning, quite a few nights in a row. We were trying to film, and a few of these scenes, the three of them aren't even in the same room at the same time. Just gets an electric collar on him.
So now that we got him, where do we bring him?
Redwoods!
And there's Dave telling him to bring him to the Redwoods, and he disappears.
Where'd he go?
We'll look for him later.
That's what you said about my fucking rifle. Redwoods. I've been thinking about that. There ain't no fucking redwoods around here. Birch, maple, pine. What does Dave want us to do? Drag Zev's hairy ass all the way out to California?
And of course, the Redwoods is actually woods that are red. The spiritual plane.
I wonder why he's not twitching.
Oops, Zev's loose. Then Athena appears and saves the day here. That was a blue screen trick. Zev was actually standing upright, and we just rotoscoped him in a different position like that and followed him up and down to the ground. Now, people get some people get the wrong idea about this scene, and actually, she's licking her wounds, just like David did when he cut his arm open and healed, and she's healing her wounds here. Of course, people are gonna think what they want to think. I mean, I'm not saying it's not sensual, but it's also motherly and animalistic. That's because a mother would lick her brood. Well, an animal would lick their wounds. And the wounds are healed. A little fight scene here with Zev and Athena. One for the digigrade legs here in the suit. Now, this is funny right here where he's pulling her out of the way. Here, she actually got like half the forest up the back of her pants. He's looking at the wounds.
Russ, get up. Russ, wake up.
Just had the weirdest erotic dream. I don't want to know why you were in it. Whoa, what did I miss?
And now we go back to the fight. And this cuts back a little quick, but basically she's fixing the the collar now. I got knocked off. And he's getting his electrolysis.
Are you okay? Ooh. I'd be better if you got off my legs. Gullible. Fuck this old broad up. Nice jewelry. Kind of makes you tingle all over, doesn't it? So why aren't you all wolfed out like the rest of them? That's because I'm what you call a thermorph. I can take on many different shapes. I just choose not to. I get all the attributes.
Now, we didn't go too crazy with Athena's character in this original version because we wanted to set things up, and hopefully in the sequel we'll be putting more focus on her character.
Tribe is going to give it to you sideways this time. Yes, they are.
Know him well?
dragging Zev to the Redwoods. This is a dual layer effect here. With some ghosting and tinting and noise.
What happens now, Athena? You brought him to your redwoods. No, we don't.
Patience. There's a cycle to these matters. He will be judged, and you will get your justice, as well as all the other innocent victims Zev has taken, including your father. His soul is in torment, not being able to pass over into the next spiritual plane.
So where's this tribe?
They're all around us.
Now, the Redwoods consists of all the spirits from the original tribe, and the shaman appears now and then to either pass judgment or to enlighten the townspeople. And the shaman turns Doug's character back to his human form with a touch of her hand.
You don't think she's gonna do that tongue in the ear thing, do you?
And here's the fire siren. She kept on going too, and she could have kept going, she said, but she was just waiting for me to say cut. Now I cut to the woods. To Zev's turned back to human form. He's been stripped.
We can't coexist with norms.
Pleading.
And you have no idea how the power feels coursing through you. Once you've tasted their flesh, it's too intoxicating.
I know too well. He has been stripped of all his lycanthrope essence. I will not kill him. I will leave that to your judgment.
Now the Redwoods is turned back to normal woods, and Zev is trying to get away.
Where'd she go?
And Athena's gone, and of course the shaman's gone, and it's daylight.
I guess so. Our judgment? Huh? So is this the new modification you told me about the electric collar?
Yep, what you do is you flip the safety here, and then you hit this button and then this button in sequence.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, we got the climatic explosion. And I wanted to have blood and guts everywhere and all that, but of course time and money. I mean, we're talking about a movie that was done very, very, very cheaply. You know, this was a story I wanted to tell, and I mean, for under $5,000 to do a whole movie here, I mean, it was basically a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and the actors just giving it their all and really, you know, wanted to tell a story.
Okay after all.
And using what we had, I mean, some locations were donated. I made movie cranes. I made a dolly for dolly shot in the AA meeting. Of course, we had the animals that were supplied by Athena. It's Heidi again. So I mean, if you want to tell a story, you just have to go out and just tell a story and use what you have and learn while you're doing it. I mean, Robert Rodriguez, famous director and movie maker, he started when he was 23 with the first movie that was cost $7,000 to make, and he just learned by doing, and now he's a big director, movie maker, and he still does a lot of things by himself. Of course, he's got more money to back him now, but you know, you learn by those things, and he's still teaching, and we hope to just keep telling stories, and hope you guys enjoy it and support local musicians, local filmmakers, local businessmen. Keep it community. Here's a tie-up scene here that the boy running through the woods here. It's the same boy, played by Jacob Roy here, and that's Angel the monkey. She kind of, that was that was actually Athena's, Christie's, who plays Athena's monkey, and she just looks so much like a little werewolf. We put her in.
You like it here.
Well, that's it. It was a simple little movie, and I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope to expand on it more for the next one. And I want to thank everybody that was involved, the cast. I'd say crew, but I was basically the crew, and the cast helping out here and there. And definitely it was a learning process for everybody, and a lot of times we're at each other's throats, but a lot of times we're just having a good time, and we can laugh now. That's what I say, we can laugh now. But happy we were able to tell a story and get it together. I mean, it's, you know, that's what it's all about. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the extras on this DVD, and I hope you check out some of the music websites from the bands, and